Welcome to the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Show, where our mission is to inspire, impact, and influence other immigrant entrepreneurs to follow their dreams and create the future they want. My guest today is Martin Blättler, all the way from Switzerland. He's the founder and CEO of Gym Performance, as you can see and as you can tell. Martin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So as you guys can see, today we have a different setting because Martin is here. We're actually recording in my office, so nothing fancy, nothing super hyped up. Martin just helped me to set everything up. And we had to switch to turn off the AC because it was loud and noisy. So we will go as long as we can tolerate the heat. And yeah.
But it's cool we can finally do that because it's been due for like many years.
Absolutely.
And now it's like, I think the first time we're both in Switzerland at the same time. So we said, let's sit together and do this. Finally.
Absolutely. So for you guys, a background to the story. I connected with Martin, I believe it was right after COVID. And then, so we started talking to each other. I knew he was back and forth between Switzerland and Brazil. Then, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, then he moved to Switzerland, and after that he moved to Asia.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we also connected around the supplement business that he was creating and building. And, you know, I already had my supplement business. So we talked about that a lot, e-commerce in general. And then I was like, okay, this guy is jacked and he's a fit guy and he's a coach. So help me with my fitness, which he did and really helped me. So yeah, and we've been talking since then back and forth, and we said, hey, we have to do this podcast because it's going to be a great conversation. But since we were always both traveling, never in the same location, I said, hey, we have to do that in the same location. So yeah, we finally get to do that. And I'm really
I think there's even more to that. There's like business that connects us for sure. Where we used to live,
right.
Or Lucerne, family, right?
Right.
And then obviously fitness, where we got in contact.
Absolutely. So let's go back to where everything started for you and also for me. You know, we're both actually from pretty much the same town in Switzerland, which is a small town. And it doesn't happen so often that you have people that you connect with and, you know, share so many things. That Martin travels all around the world. He's an immigrant entrepreneur. He lives here, he lives there, but he's always working no matter where he is. So Martin, before we get into the nitty-gritty, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into what you do, and why you're so jacked.
Why I'm so jacked. So it depends on how far back you want to go, because I have quite a bit of story.
Right.
If you want to start all the way back, I can do that, but it will take some time. So Be prepared.
So let's go to where you got into entrepreneurship and traveling around and all of this.
So what you need to know is I actually have a background in IT. I don't know whether you know that or not, but I'm an IT nerd. I did that not with passion, but I mean it's good money and it was called the future is bright for IT. It still is. But it was not what I wanted, really. Like my passion was at 4 o'clock every day, okay, now I can go to the gym, right? Do my workout. I was super into fitness. At age 20, I think, I thought I want to travel the world, went to Santa Monica, Muscle Beach, worked out next to Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and then 50 Cent and Arnold and all these huge guys. And I was just like so motivated. And I also could see the first time, there's actually money to be made in the fitness scene. Right, I didn't know. I mean, you can be a personal trainer, but this was not really what I wanted to do. I did a little bit of personal training on the side, but it was, to be honest, too boring just being in the gym all day and saying, this exercise. And so I started Gym Performance 2014, 10 years ago. It was a blog, it was an Instagram. Back then, Instagram was just about to start actually, like nobody did Instagram, right? And I did okay. I came back to Switzerland and people would ask me, okay, hey, I saw you doing these cool moves on the rings and on calisthenics, handstand push-ups, blah, blah, blah. Can you teach me? And so I already started having my little side business. There was nothing serious. It was more like, okay, Ollie, you want to have my plan? 50 francs, I'll give you my plan.
Right.
And for some people, it even works. As simple as that. Like, was like a PDF or even like a document where here's my plan. And that's it. Right. So this was just like a side. I don't even know whether you can call it business. It was a hobby.
Right.
It was a hobby. And then I still worked for like in IT, then I swapped career, I did online marketing, worked actually here in Lucerne, very close from that place, where I learned a lot about online marketing, which comes today very handy, obviously. I could see how different strategies work and how to do Google ads and blah, 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 blah. So fast forward a few years, I'm still into traveling, still into fitness, and I'm traveling to Australia.
Oh wow!
Where I met my fiance, my partner today, and we fell in love in Australia. But she went back to Brazil, so she's Brazilian. I'm Swiss. We meet there in Australia, and we said, let's try to make this work somehow. Long distance relationship, meaning she came to Switzerland. I showed her, Titlis, and then just around here in winter. The first time snow was good fun. Then I went to Rio, had also good time there. And then I come back to Switzerland and say, okay, look, I have career here, and she does her studies there. I think it's not gonna work. A few months later, I got a call, and she's crying on the phone, explains me she's pregnant. And now what, right? Now I'm here with like my family here, with my job here, my friends here. What do you do now, right? So it was quite a difficult time for me, as you can imagine. I had to make a decision. Am I staying? Am I going there? Are we, what options are there? And for me it was clear, I want to be responsible for my actions, obviously. So I'm going there. That's what I did. Left everything behind. Literally went, without knowing the language, Portuguese, like without having any security, what's to come job-wise, right? I'm still working here in Switzerland, without, any knowledge about the country. I've never really lived with my girlfriend at the time, so it was the first time, plus the baby, right? And then you also need to organize, the visa and insurance and blah, 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 blah. And there I am going to Brazil, and was a difficult time.
Wow.
Difficult time.
Interesting. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Was that never an option for her to come to Switzerland?
At the time, not really. Later, yes. But at the time, she's younger than me. She's like 4-5 years younger than me.
Right.
And she was just about to start her studies, and living abroad or away from her family was not really an option.
Okay.
Plus, there were some issues in her family,
Right.
that for her was clear she would stay there. And so it was, as a man you still can say, look, I have a life here, I'm doing my thing, and I have a baby on the other side of the world, whatever. I pay my monthly elements, whatever. But this is not what I wanted and what I expected from myself.
Right.
And so I went there. Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then and then it got interesting, because you need
what year is that?
Like, that's 2018, so not too far actually.
Right.
When you're in Brazil, like, it's a different continent. It's not a different. It's a different world even. It's like so different from Switzerland. And I was used to traveling. I was used to living in other places. I also lived in the United States for like 8 months, and then again in Australia. Never had any issues. But now with the Brazilian culture, with a completely different family setup and different habits, and these family gatherings, it was quite difficult. You can imagine sitting here with your mother-in-law,
Right.
and then you're having dinner, and then you're just like, because you cannot say a word in Portuguese, right?
Right.
Like it's not the best feeling, and you cannot really connect to their family, and nobody speaks English there. In Brazil, like very small percentage actually can speak English. It's not like you are like in Asia where you can speak English.
Where was that? Which city? Which part of Brazil?
It's Sao Paulo.
Okay.
It's a city. Well, yeah, it's a bit apart from Sao Paulo. But I mean, Sao Paulo has like how many? Like 12 million people who live there, so it's huge. Specifically, São José dos Campos, it's like a million person city. But we lived there, and things got interesting because I knew, okay, I still can work remotely for the company in Switzerland, but I have no security. What if they say, okay, I found a new person who doesn't have online marketing, or they, oh, you're not in Switzerland. This is before COVID, right? Like remote work was new.
Another thing,
like, it was another thing. And obviously it's okay, salary, we need to talk about that because you're not only in Switzerland, you don't need that much, and blah, blah, blah. And so I decided, okay, I need to like really like go all in with my online coaching or really scale it up. And that's what I did. Hired a business coach. Probably one of the best decisions that I made. It was like a lot of money I paid, and it was like when I made this transfer, I was like, shit, if this is not going to work out, this will be terrible. But in the end, I believe very much in coaches. I mean, I'm a coach myself.
You have to.
I have to. But even for me, like I have sometimes I have fitness coaches. I have like various business coaches. It's like it's actually working, obviously. So yeah, this is like the business side where I said, okay, now even with the baby, with the language I need to learn, and still everything with the police, visa and everything. In addition to that, my girlfriend, she didn't work anymore. She had to look after the baby. She neglected herself a bit. I would say she also didn't have so much support from her family. She was basically 24/7 with the baby, and that caused her to have some issues mentally. So that's another thing that you need to keep in mind. Like, here you are with a baby, with a family. You need to make sure you have an income. You need to make sure everything is going somehow well. Then you have someone with depression. It wasn't really that. And yeah, for me it was literally just fitness that kept me going. That kept me from insanity, really. Because like there's so many things that happen and you have just no control over. But for me it was always, I can still go to the gym. I can still do my thing. And if I wouldn't have that, I would be so out of control, right? And this is why I love fitness, by the way, because like it's in my opinion, the only thing that you have full control over. Expect obviously you're injured or have some kind of illness, right? Then if you're in a wheelchair. But other than that, like I don't know how the weather is going to be tomorrow. I don't know if like so many things that I don't have control over, but that I'm going to the gym and do my thing and feel good. I can do it every single day.
Awesome. So it becomes at some point your anchor, right? Whatever goes left or right, or whatever happens outside of your control, you always go back to your anchor, which is your fitness. So fair enough. At that point, when you were going through this, let's call it the challenging phase of your life, did you still have the business and with gym performance? Did you have the coaching business already flourishing and cash flowing, and also were you still working for the company as an employee or no?
When I went to Brazil, I was still working for an agency in Switzerland, from Lucerne. And then once I hired a business coach, I think it took me 2 or 3 months. So my idea was, okay, I'm hiring this fitness coach, this business coach, and I'm scaling my business so slowly over time and can make the transition. However, things went very well actually. And my idea of, okay, I'm going to do 60% for the agency and then 40% and eventually I could quit. Like after 2 months, I said, look, now I'm going to leave. I'm making enough basically, and I'm going to all in with that. Still scary, obviously, but it worked out. And something also obviously I learned, or many things I learned, but if you believe something, then go all in. You cannot be a little bit in,
Absolutely.
have some security there and a little bit of that, because throw me in the freaking lake and then you learn how to swim.
Right.
This is
Right.
how we learn it, right?
Right. And one thing that I have to give to you, seriously, and I mean it, is that, in Switzerland, I mean, we talk about entrepreneurship, and in America, obviously, entrepreneurship is a huge thing. But in Switzerland, most or majority of people are safety oriented.
Absolutely. 100%.
For someone who is
100%.
watching this and never been to Switzerland, never talked to Swiss
100%.
people, never lived in Switzerland, is hard to imagine, because when I try to explain it to my American friends, I'm like, guys, in Switzerland, you have basically all the safety and security that you want. You're not gonna end up on streets within a few weeks or even a few months if you lose your job.
Yeah.
You still can keep your home. You still can pretty much keep the lifestyle you want while working towards finding a new job, right? And for someone like you who was born here, number one, who has lived in this environment and is used to this mentality, now leave everything behind you and go way out of your comfort zone and do something that you have never done before, is actually, I truly believe, you deserve way more respect than someone like me who has lived all over the place, is almost a gypsy and is used to this lifestyle and living from one place to the other. So that's why.
Thanks for that.
That's why I truly believe your story is so inspiring, because you have lived a safe and secure life.
Very safe. With an IT job, with like my family, with everything. Like, even when I told my parents, my dad was like, Martin, like, what did you do? Like, you have everything here, and like such a bright future. And now you're going there, and in Brazil it was the same. They're like, okay, now you basically ruined your life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also see that now we've been traveling as digital nomads basically for the past 2 years. And Swiss people are literally like that. They say, "Oh, Martin, like, that's so cool. I wish I could do this as well." Okay, what's holding you back?
Exactly.
And they're like,
I can't because of this and that.
So, yeah, just like some bullshit excuse, to be honest, because like they're not willing to take risks.
Absolutely.
And too comfortable. That's maybe more they're just too comfortable.
Where they are.
Like, absolutely. No matter whether they have like a job, or whether it's in a relationship, whether it's like where they live, the reason why they stay there is too comfortable. And like making change requires you to go out of your comfort zone and doing something that, well, won't be easy, right?
And you know what's also interesting? We have had a couple of friends from America visiting us this year. We're here now for a couple of months, from America here in Switzerland. And then, number one, without an exception, number one question they ask me all the time when they come here to Switzerland and see everything: how would someone live this? How would someone live this life and immigrate to America?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, it depends what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
If this is the life you want, easy and everything is nice and in order, then you stay here. But if what you want for yourself and also your family is to take it to the next level, then or in my case, I cannot talk for other people. In my case, I said to myself, okay, if I want different results, then I have to do different things. Right? I cannot always do the same thing and expect different results.
In my mind, this is like my biggest fear. I don't want to have a life without living. It's like, I don't like the typical Swiss, and like it's their life and everyone can do whatever they want, but it's like growing up, let's go to school, then doing apprenticeship, then being employed, and then someone with 30 you have like maybe a kid and you're getting old and you're always the same place, and like just very default way of living, right? And for me it's like, that's not really what I want, to be honest. Like, even when I did IT, I knew I want to work abroad. This was a goal of mine. And funny enough, because like I had a daughter then in Brazil, I could make this work somehow, right? But yeah, like Switzerland is very comfortable. It is very cool. My partner always says when Switzerland had nice weather, it would not be fair. Because, like, we have everything here, right? So we cannot also have like sun all the time.
Right.
I kind of agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what I still wonder, then okay, you go to Brazil and things are not easy as expected, but you also have your business that now is growing and flourishing. What kept you there? Or first, tell us what happened from there.
Yeah. So after I think 2 years of being there, we said, okay, we want to move, and we went to Switzerland actually. Reasons for that, we knew the future might be better here for our daughter, and economy is better. And if you know a little bit about Brazil, you see, okay, minimum salary is like 500 francs, and like economy is not the best.
Which 500 francs is equal, Swiss francs is equal to how many in US dollars? How much US dollars?
It's more or less the same, no?
Yeah, it's basically, let's say 550 maybe.
$550 a month. And it's very, very difficult there. I mean, there's people who have like a degree in law or marketing, and they just make minimum salary. Right. Like, it's sad to see actually. And then also because, well, things were not perfect there. I mean, my partner still had depression, and this, for me, it was like such pressure because like I had to, make sure the family is okay and the income is okay, and I have to look after myself. And again, my side business back then, right, and the agency, and like it was just so much. I also knew like if this is going on like that with that stress level, this will not be healthy, right? So eventually, we said we're moving back to Switzerland. That's what we did. My partner even found a job, and she said, "Oh, here, even if I don't have like an apprenticeship or any education, I can go and work in a kitchen, and I get 4,000 francs now, right? Like, wow, it's amazing." We stood here a year, and then I think it was more me. It was like I'm back at this place where I actually wanted to live. It's almost a bit too comfortable, right? I had my business, everything was well, but it was almost a bit too uncomfortable. Plus the weather. I love the sun. I love being out. Just an outdoor person really. And said, look, let's leave. Let's see. I mean, I have a job that I can do wherever I want. So let's go to Thailand. And took a while to convince her really, because she found it okay. She had a good job, and Switzerland is cool. But I still, she's now in this bubble where she's comfortable and she's having her job, but not really happy. Like Swiss people sometimes, right?
But good enough to survive.
Good enough to be okay. And no, it's certainly better than Brazil, but just like comfortable. I think, okay, you're comfortable, but it's not happiness. I know how it can be for the two of us or the three of us. And so we said, okay, let's go to Thailand. And so this was such a cool adventure. We just went to Koh Samui, and then we traveled to Phuket, and then to Krabi. And for me, it was a wonderful time because as an entrepreneur, you work a lot, and it's sometimes even difficult to keep the balance with like family and free time. And there it was just so awesome because could take the weekends off, and we could do cool things, adventures, and see the monkeys and the elephants and blah 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 blah. And I had a really good balance. Plus, what I saw there, and you probably know that if you focus on a business, just give it your all, and maybe it's not growing as you want, or something happens, and then you're frustrated. You're very much frustrated. And there it was every business has issues and up and downs, but I always had it doesn't matter that much. I just go to the beach and wow, life is great. Life is great, right? And also for Gabrielle, my partner, she helped me a bit with video and did some things for gym performance and cooking videos, and was a really good time. We did it for a year, and then actually a bit more, and then we decided to come back mainly for our daughter. She's now actually this year she would have to go to kindergarten, and so we need to make this decision, where will we do that? And the idea was, maybe we'll do that in Switzerland, right?
When was that?
That was actually this year. So this year, the idea, our
You
initial
guys
idea,
were also in Bali. Yeah.
Bali as well, yeah.
Was that after Thailand?
This was actually in this 1.5 years of traveling. I think in the first 2 months we were in Bali.
Okay.
So we were doing that. Then we said, oh, let's go to Switzerland quickly, see my family. Then go to Brazil, that she sees her family. And then we probably we don't know exactly, but we're probably gonna move maybe to Switzerland. That was the idea, nothing concrete.
Right.
And then my father-in-law, he passed away in Brazil, and so everything changed again. And I'm there. I'm like, look, I can work from wherever I want, and I'm here to support you. So if you want to stay here, we stay there. And so right now we're in Brazil. I don't know how long, to be honest. Maybe we come back to Switzerland. I didn't leave this idea of even moving back to Thailand, because for me it was actually great.
Right.
But right now we're on holiday in Switzerland, and you also see, man, in summer it's so freaking beautiful,
man. It is so beautiful.
And like right now my daughter is here on the lake with my parents, and like it's very, very different. Like my family is very outdoor orientated, and my daughter has a really good time here, whereas in Brazil, like school system sucks in my opinion.
Right.
So this you need to understand. You have school only half days.
Public or private school?
Both actually, half days. So you send you can have the best private school, but it's half days, and then the rest of the day you do what? Like as a teenager, what do you do? Like no surprises, the criminality is so high there, right? Because like you do probably drugs, you do stupid things,
right?
And this is not really what I want for my daughter, right? You want her to have a good education, a bright future, and although for now things are great, I enjoy being there, and you know, the sun, like it's good. It's not everything is bad, but we still haven't really decided. Okay, what's next now? Where will it be? Right now she goes actually to private school in Brazil, but yeah, future is unknown, and like even if you look back past few years, I never really knew okay what's next, but it keeps things interesting. And again, with my job, actually with what I built, with what I built, I can do that like no matter where. Right?
So I have a couple of questions for you.
Shoot.
Number one, you know, when I get to travel a lot, like you have been doing with island hopping in Thailand and then going to Bali and stuff, it takes a lot of discipline to still stick to your routine. When absolutely. I say your routine, I don't mean the gym and the morning routine and everything, and even maybe eating habits. What I mean is getting in front of the computer, getting your things done, getting, you know, if you do calls, if you have online meetings, whatsoever, getting. How did you do that, or how do you do that?
So I actually made myself a rule. Whenever we travel, I give myself no more than 1 day to just set everything up. Meaning, we go from Bali to Krabi. 1 day before we go, I'm texting, oh, we need a kindergarten, oh, a scooter, we need this. And the moment I'm there, even though I'm super tired, I'm picking up the scooter or the car, or I'm setting up everything. Again, I don't go to sleep before my work setup is ready. It's always the first thing, here, notebook and like cameras and everything. And then, I mean, the daily schedule, it changes. Sometimes my daughter goes to school at 9, sometimes at 8, because we're, you know, working with different kindergartens and daycares and so on. But I mean, it needs a lot of organization. It needs a lot of organization. And then, discipline, obviously. It needs that. What is the trick? I don't know. For me, I work with calendars. So I do everything. Like I do here, bring Lara to school. Here, workout. Here, morning routine. And literally sometimes it's journaling. That I don't forget 15 minutes journaling. Right. Because if it's in my calendar, then I do it. Right. If it's not there, I mean, it happened that I forgot to work out. Out of sudden, it's 10 p.m. in the evening. Oh shit, because it was not in my calendar. Right. And that's what I also tell my client. put it in your calendar, like with work meetings, like with this podcast is in my calendar, right? And then the rest is I don't know, like if I'm in Krabi, if I'm thinking back, we have a pool there. One time we did in the outside and indoor pool. That was amazing. And then because of time difference, that's actually benefit, because now I get up, I have until 1 o'clock where I can do whatever I want. I can go, because I work mainly with Swiss clients, right? So I can go to the gym, I can go to the pool with my daughter, I can have cool lunch, and then from 1 o'clock is okay. Now, Lara, Daddy needs to work now, and then maybe until 8 or 9 p.m. I'm working, and I'm fine with that, because I know, I mean, it needs to be deserved, right? You cannot just hang out for around a year and go, what happened with, why is the money gone? And like, it's stupid, obviously. And then right now it's the opposite, meaning I get up in the morning, I do my morning routine, and then calls, work, and then maybe at 3 p.m. Now it's time for family, and I can go to gymnastics with my daughter and can work out, and it's tricky and it requires you to be open to change, right? But I always say change is good. Change is be open to change, be open to inputs. Also say when one system works right now, doesn't mean that it works in 5 years from now, exactly because of that, or maybe you have a kid who goes to school and now she's no longer school or goes to work, and everything changes, right?
100%.
So you need to be open to those.
100%.
Yeah.
I also believe that life comes in phases.
Absolutely.
You know, what we experience in this phase of our lives is different than what we might experience in 2 or 3 years from now. Things change, environment change, we change actually, which is a great thing.
Absolutely.
You know. So how much of this discipline that you just talked about do you believe comes from having this, let's call it this athlete and fitness mindset, and sticking to what you set in your mind and looking the way you look? How much is that adaptable to other things that you do in your life?
Like I learned it in fitness and I applied to my business, I applied to life, and it works exactly the same, 1-1, right? It's like, I think sports teaches you so much. And it goes from, okay, I go to the gym even when I don't feel like it. It goes, oh shit, now I have like a little injury, but I, keep going, pushing through. Maybe I have like I need to slow down a little bit. It goes to, like, there's so many life lessons that it teaches me. And I mean, that if you're just like sticking to it and stay on the path, you will eventually be successful, right? Like it took me so many years until I would see, oh, I actually have a biceps, right? But the first few years is like nothing, right? It's like very painful progress almost. But it's literally, I built it there, took it in business, other areas, and it's just exactly the same. Well, what came to mind when I told the story, this was actually super funny when we did this entire digital nomad thing, or when I was younger and already did some coaching. Like, I don't think you would hire me if I'm 20 years old and now you're older with a family, businessman. Now you have Martin there. He's like 20 years old. He looks good, but he doesn't have responsibilities. He doesn't travel, and no family. And then it got very interesting because out of sudden I'm like having a family, a father. Okay, this like, oh, you don't have a family, it doesn't apply anymore. And because you're still 20 or whatever. Okay, I'm now 32, so still not 40, 50, but I'm also getting older, right? And you're not traveling all the time. And then we're doing the digital nomad things, and nobody could actually say, oh, you're just like young, and I was also this when I was younger. I think it resonates very well today because like probably the reason why you wanted to work with me as well, right? Oh, he has also a business. Oh, he's also a father. He has also these challenges when you travel. And I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's doable. It's kind of my motivation even to show you it's doable somehow. It requires a lot, but it's doable. Right?
That's also what I believe. Speaking of that, I'm sure you're familiar with the hero's journey. You do something yourself, and then you go through challenges, and then you setbacks, and then you manage it at some point, and then you go back and take other people's hand and then walk them through them. Now, when people want to trust you, that you're a coach, you're a guide, they also want to see that what they're trying to figure out is something you have been through the process yourself before. You know, that what gives you credibility towards working with your customers, with your clients.
And I think this is why the niche I'm working with, like again, entrepreneurs, family fathers like you, is great because like they can identify themselves with me, or the other way around. And I know what it's like when, you know, daughter is sick and you don't get enough sleep, or I want to have a pizza night with my daughter every week actually. And I'm going to do that. And like people out there, or people in the same position, they also want that. They don't want to, you know, count calories and work out for 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, if you're 20 and don't have responsibilities, you can do that. So if you work with someone who's young, then you might get that, right? Oh, here your macros, and here your like hardcore gym workouts might not work.
Right. So speaking of having pizza dates with your kid, how does that work? You know, if somebody is like, hey, I want to stick to my routine, I want to be disciplined. We've all heard of these cheat days and cheat meals and stuff like that. How do you go about that to, let's say, as a father, as a businessman, have also your, let's say, business lunch, business dinners that you go out and have with business partners, but also go out with your family, enjoy a nice meal, but also stick into your routine? How do you go with your clients about that?
This is also always something I had to learn, because in Brazil, this when it happened, now we have like out of the you know, the kids' birthday parties, and you go out with family, and actually every weekend you have these gatherings. And I was also a bit afraid, okay, what am I going to do that? I cannot stick to my diet plan anymore, right? So it was all new. I had to learn that. It's actually very doable. I did that for an entire year, where I ate out every day. I said, oh, it's actually going, and it's actually much better, because I'm less stressed about, oh, I had 20 grams of carbohydrates too much, or here a little too protein or whatnot. The thing is, when you eat out, most of the time you still can choose A, B, or C. So you have something healthy, you have something not so healthy, and then the very bad variant. There you need to say, okay, if it's every single day, then you better take the thing that is healthy. If it's once a week, then it's okay. And if you're out with friends and it's, you know, they're having a beer and you can get the pizza and you enjoy it actually, then go for it. But when it's every single day, then no, that's an habit, right? So you need to be very careful and differentiate. Like for me right now, I'm kind of vacation mode, where I allow myself, to eat out more often, to eat things that I usually do not have. But 80% is then back in Brazil, where I wouldn't say strict, but the meals are more or less the same. And always have some protein and some vegetable and some carbs. And then if you learn some strategies, for example, you know, today we're going out and we're having a pizza, we're going to Italian, so you can make some adjustments throughout the day. Meaning, in the morning you might have a protein snack. For lunch, you cannot have like, you know, a huge portion of pasta, and then in the evening also the pizza. That's probably not going to work. Or versa, holidays, right? You cannot go morning buffet and then have pasta for lunch, and then an ice cream, and then pizza. That's the problem, right? But if you have like this one meal where, you know, okay, every evening we go out with my family and we're probably having something that's not so healthy, you can make adjustments throughout the day. Like today we're actually going out, so I didn't have a lot. I had a protein shake in the morning. I have like actually like a tuna salad for lunch, and that's it. So you can compensate a little bit. So it's just like straight. It's compensation. It's actually not rocket science. Makes total sense.
It's the big picture, right?
It's the big picture, because like at the end of the day, like, I mean, it is it's not this one meal that counts, right? It's more like the habits. And if you have habits of eating healthy, good, and then you have, you know, every so often, you know, the pizza or whatnot, it will even be healthy, because it also can get the other side, where we look at the bodybuilders. Oh, I cannot go out with friends because it doesn't, you know, fit the macros. Oh, I don't know how many protein and blah 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 blah. And now I cannot eat with my family. You cannot go to birthday dinners. I think that's not healthy.
What's your opinion about fasting? Intermittent fasting.
It can work. and it works in theory very well. What theory neglects is when people don't eat. So maybe to explain, fasting, obviously you don't eat for a certain amount of time,
Right.
and then you maybe only have a lunch and dinner.
Right.
Some people have like just a snack in the late afternoon and then dinner. The problem is if you go a long time without fasting, people get hungry,
Right.
right? Plus they think, okay, I didn't have breakfast,
Right.
I didn't have lunch,
I can
I
compensate.
can now eat a lot, like really a lot, right? And because they're so hungry and because they have that, then they overeat and then they eat in one meal way too many calories, which then lead to weight gain and not to the opposite what it's supposed to do. So it really depends from person to person. There is people who say, look, I can go out of the house, I feel good, I don't need anything. And there's other people, I cannot go out of the house, I'm getting a headache when I don't eat. Right, so you need to differentiate. I think like what's very important, one size doesn't fit all. I think everyone who says that this is the only way, this is the only diet, only train from, full of bullshit.
Okay, and then one more thing that I've always been asking myself, looking at you, you look more, I would say, if you had to pick one side, I would say you look like a very healthy guy, but also leaning a little bit towards bodybuilding than, let's say, somebody who does running and all these
for
things.
sure.
Okay,
for sure.
But when I look at your workouts, I see you do handstand, you do things like a bodybuilder would not be able to do. How do you do that?
That's a cool question. That's a cool question. The thing is, I did. Well, it's not fully true. Like my very first program I did for people was called Performance Meets Aesthetics.
Right.
So aesthetics, how you look, has always been important for me.
Right.
Right. I cannot say, oh, I only do it for to run this 5 kilometers, or also not to bench 200 kilograms. I actually don't care that much about that. But I wanted to perform, meaning I wanted to do the cool thing like the muscle up and the handstands, but I also wanted to look good. So I combined those things, right? You have on one hand those bodybuilding style workouts, and then on the other hand, you have like the calisthenics and this more functional thing. And nowadays, I think Brazil was a bit of an influence because there I see people are hugely into bodybuilding, and I see how unhealthy they look. I see how much drugs are involved. I see just how massive they look,
right.
And also I go into the gym there and think, shit, every woman is bigger than me. It's almost like it's not too good for for self-confidence going to the gym there. Also for girls, it's just not optimal because of the surgeries and the standard there is a bit different. Let's put it this way. So what I said then, okay, I want to keep my physique. Right now, it's not really about getting bigger, but I also I rather want to learn some skills in gymnastics, for example, which is completely new to me, right? Because like the looks, if you achieve a goal in business, what do you need to do? You need to set a new goal.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise you're not motivated
Absolutely.
anymore, right? So if someone achieves a six-pack, what then? If you don't set a new goal, or right now Olympics, right? If you win gold, after that you need to set a new goal because otherwise you would say, oh, I won everything, and now what? Why am I actually training? Why I'm doing this, right? And then athletes get depressed. The business the same. You need to have a new milestone, new goals to challenge you. And for me, it was a bit like that. I got happy with how I looked. That's okay. What is next? So now I'm going into this way more flexibility and gymnastic skills, and I have a specific skill that I want to learn. That when I tell people that this is something that pro like break dancers and gymnasts do, like it will take you. And for me, it's like motivating. I want to show I can do that.
Cool.
Right.
So obviously you're a couple of years younger than me, but how much, for me, for example, longevity is very big at this point where I am in my life, because I'm 50, soon to be 51. I have kids that are very young. And I want to be able to not be in my 70s and perhaps in my 80s just to look good, but I still want to be able to work out. I imagine myself actually to going to the gym with my son when he's a teenager, you know, and I really see picture in front of me.
Cool.
And whatever I do, if I go to the gym, I recently started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because it's something that is challenging me to think, to adapt to new things that I've never done before. So the reason I'm saying this, how much in your workout routine and in your, let's say, in your physical activities in general, how much does longevity play a role for you?
Dude, you can say I'm only 32, but it's more important than ever. Like all the stretching I do, I used to do my workout like 60 minutes of strength training. I go in and bench press and do pull-ups and okay, I'm done, out. Now it's like 30, 40 minutes of mobility and stretching every single day.
Oh, wow.
And then actually a small part, still 30 minutes, 40 minutes of weightlifting. But just way more into this because I see, I feel much better. Again, maybe I compromise the look a little bit,
right?
But I feel much better,
right?
And I move better.
Right.
So moving better is so much more important because, like you, now if I compare myself with 20 and 30, I say, I actually look better and could progress. But I want to be even better with 40, and I hope to look even better with 50. And people will laugh. No, just like get to that point and try. But I genuinely believe that you can do that. I saw like in Brazil, when I went to gymnastics with my daughter, I saw someone doing gymnastics and he did like the flips and then he did some rings, and I hit him up. Man, he must be like a former gymnast you do for Brazil, and he said, he actually started with like 27.
Oh wow!
I was like, what do you mean? Like how old are you now? It's like 55.
Wow.
Like what the hell? I even took a picture with him. Like how can he be 55?
That's so cool.
But then again, he says, look, every single day he goes there and does his strength training and his mobility, and obviously it's not for everyone doable. You cannot work out 2 hours every single day, or not everyone has this opportunity or doesn't want to, right? But to answer your question, it's very important because, my daughter goes to gymnastics, and my goal is certainly to not only keep up, I want to be better than her.
Right.
And right now she can do like the bridge and then the handstand to bridge. I cannot do that, so I need to learn that. I need to learn that. Yeah,
that's awesome, dude. One question I have for you as a fitness coach. You know, I have worked with coaches in the past, with personal trainers, and every time you go to the gym, they write down how much weight you put on the last time. Not me, but how much weight I was lifting. And they're like, okay, last time we did that much, now we're increasing. Yeah. And at some point I'm like, dude, if we increase every single time, every session we go, I mean,
you're the strongest man in the world in 1 year.
So
right?
how do you see that?
So you certainly need to apply this overload. The idea is to get better, stronger, faster. That's true, right? Because if you can do 20 push-ups and all you do is 20 push-ups, why should you get stronger?
Right.
Why should your muscles grow?
Right.
So you need to actually, maybe you can slow down the push-ups. You can put more weight on your back or something like that. You could do bench press that increases also the push-ups. But obviously, everything you do, you will eventually stagnate. Otherwise, again, in 1 year from now, I can do 500 kilograms, which is unrealistic. So what you should have to do is to swap your workouts to like you say, life comes in phases. I said the training phases also come in phases. Where it's okay, we have here a block. I do that for 2 months. And then you see in your log, okay, it was a good time frame because you see that the numbers are stagnating, and then you do something completely different to give the body again a reason to grow. Plus, I also say is psychological because you see, my numbers are increasing again. So if you always do 4 times 10, at some point you can no longer increase the weight, but then maybe you switch to 3 times 15. It could be simple as that. It could be new exercises, but it could be simple as that. You go from 4 times 10 So 4 sets of 10 repetitions, and now do 3 times 15,
Right.
or do maybe 4 times of 8, just something different so the body has a new stimulus, right? And this is what people tend to neglect. They have a
Right.
plan, and then they do it all year, or 2 years, or forever, and then, I cannot increase, I don't progress, and that's
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I get that. That makes complete sense. I also believe that you have to shock your muscles. Shock your muscles. Obviously, one way of shocking it is by increasing the weight, but one way is also doing things differently that your muscles are
Just
not
do
used
things
to it.
differently.
Right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Dude, this conversation was due for such a long time, and I really appreciate you taking the time coming here. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Really good questions, actually. It's
Thank you so much.
It
Thank
made
you.
me think back of my story a little bit, and
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I wish you nothing but the truest, all the best for the future. And
Likewise.
I wish we keep in touch and maybe have you back on the podcast sometime in the future, because I always believe it's also so interesting what we share now, maybe, and then have you back on
Absolutely.
a year or 2 years from now, and then see what happened between this conversation and the next
I
one.
give it back. I remember texting you some time ago. I'm now in the United States,
Right.
and then I was I'm now in Switzerland, and now this time I'm actually also in Switzerland. So
Right.
it's
Right.
let's just keep the connection up, and
Absolutely.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. And so, Martin, please tell our audience where they can find you, connect with you, and maybe learn from you.
So on YouTube, it's Martin Blättler. On Instagram @chimperformance. And then on my website, chimperformance.ch, if you're interested in coaching. And then LinkedIn and Facebook and everywhere else, just enter my name. You'll find me.
Absolutely. We'll link you up in the show notes so people can find you easily. And let's keep in touch. Like, subscribe, and comment on the show.
Do that.
So more people can see it. And God bless, and see you next time. Thanks, Martin.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.